And now back to Property Source Radio with your hosts, Steve and Pat. This segment is brought to you by Dark Horse Coffee, open in the Village Gate and offering catering for your next event.
And this is the segment where we check in with Pat Coyne's pick on the Buffalo Bills this week. You didn't have a lot of luck with last week's prediction.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, and if you didn't hear what he said last week, let's I have it on tape. We'll give it a listen here. This is Pat predicting last week's Bills game in Cincinnati. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with the Bills this week to take Cincinnati. All right, and the reason why is because they don't have to change time zones, so they're just moving over to Cincinnati. No big deal. Okay?
Yep.
So they're also very strong this year. If they lose this game, the fans are going to kill them all.
And they lost.
Yeah.
And I think some people did jump off the Bills bandwagon.
You think?
After the loss to
Cincinnati. I hate when they do that.
Yeah, it's early in the season too.
Or a quarter of the way through.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Time flies. I just know I had a good clam bake. A friend called me up Sunday morning and said, "Hey, I got 10 dozen clams for you."
Really?
I said, "Well, I'll be over to eat them while we watch the Bills game." So that was my bonus. Yeah. I mean, I was upset that they lost, but I stuffed myself, so I was fine.
All right. Well, so Philadelphia now this week, and I don't know if you know the whole Michael Vick story. About him, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't know the story. I know the guy's name.
The dog with the dog fighting thing.
Oh, yeah,
that's him.
That's why I know
the guy.
Name. Okay,
that's the guy. So he's bringing his act to town. Tomorrow.
Okay.
At Ralph Wilson Stadium, 1 o'clock kickoff. It's on Channel 8, and the Bills are 3-point underdogs coming off last week's loss to Cincinnati. So with that, Pat, how are you breaking this one down?
Here's what's happening.
Give me
this
the X's and O's.
You know what I'm going to do is go back old school on you and do the hometown advantage. We're taking the Bills to win home this weekend, and that's the only thing I'm basing my prediction on this week.
Home field advantage.
Home field advantage. I'm going old school on you. All
right, so with the point spread at 3 points, the Bills can lose by 2 and you still win. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it makes sense to me. I like it.
Okay. So your prediction again is?
The Bills to win with the points, the 3-point spread.
All right, well, we'll see you.
Yeah.
Your analysis.
Are you loving this? Well, see, last couple of weeks I got really crazy on my details and my research, and it didn't help me,
Well, the last couple of weeks you did Oakland, you talked about property values in Oakland, and that was one of the reasons why you didn't like the Raiders.
Crazy research.
You weren't too crazy about property values in Cincinnati last week.
No. If they're anything like Cleveland, they're crap.
And what about Philadelphia then?
I don't even want to go there.
Who does?
Who does?
So Pat Coyne says take the Bills. I mean, now if you're going to take his advice, gosh, I mean, if
you got it, right? You got to go with the Bills, right?
And all Pat's predictions, I looked on the website, propertysourceradio.com. It's pretty funny to see your whole segment there. You can run down the analysis of every game so far this season, and we'll have today's on there as well.
He's putting the audio up too, by the way.
Well, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Now let's hear Alex's take on this one.
I think it's going to be Philadelphia, but I think barely. I have to say, it makes me sad that Michael Vick is most well known for his dog fighting, when in fact he is and was a pretty good quarterback before all that went down.
Back in Atlanta, sure.
Yeah, and then he had that record-breaking season last year, and when people say Michael Vick, those who are not in the know go, oh yeah, the dog fighting guy.
Right.
That would be me.
He did jail time for it, Pat.
That's right. I remember
missed an entire season.
Yikes! I remember the news stuff.
My opinion on that is that honestly, the man paid his debt to society. He was convicted of lying on the stand. He went to jail. He did his time. He came out. All he wants to do is play football.
Well, that's good. They got it. They took him back. Now, if I went to jail for 6 months, let's say, would you guys hire me back? I don't think so.
Yeah, it depends on how good your replacement is.
Well, that's only if you're really, 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 really sorry. All right, the Bills, of course, hosting Philadelphia tomorrow. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. It's sold out, so you'll be able to see the game on Channel 8. Julie bought pumpkins the other day. Yeah, she's out of Growmore Farms, and it was very sad because, with Stevie not living at home with us anymore, he's 24 years old, living in Denver. She was wondering whether to buy the 3 pumpkins like we always get or whether to step back and just buy 2.
2. Mm-hmm.
And she bought 2.
Oh, well.
Very, very sad.
Well, it's sad, but it saved you $6.
Well, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
But the thing, I don't want to have to I don't want to have to carve the pumpkins. Oh. You still do that at your house? I'm sure you do, Alex.
Of course.
I didn't last year.
Yeah.
I set them out on the back deck, and it got cold, so that nobody went out on the deck. Kids forgot all about them. Because the year before, they wanted me to, years prior, I'm out there cutting them. They get bored in 15 minutes. They're gone. Yeah. I'm still out there for an hour and a half.
Newspapers. We used to set the newspapers out on the kitchen floor, and we had that special cutting tool that a kid can use without cutting his finger off.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can penetrate the pumpkin. And it was the same thing every year, triangle eyes, a triangle nose, and then you try to make a mouth with a couple of teeth in it.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at these people who can professionally carve pumpkins.
Oh, it's so cool.
And again, I'll use it. You go to Powers Farm Stand, for instance.
Yep.
They have an unbelievable array of professionally done. How do you do that?
And why don't actually
they make it pretty easy to do it yourself at home. And I actually learned a trick because for me, like when I was a kid, holidays in my house were always a big deal. It didn't matter what the holiday was. We always did something. We had a tradition. So I like to carry that on. So, yes, we do the pumpkin carving every year. And my son last year wanted the Yankee symbol carved on his pumpkin. So I did some online research and discovered if you take a pattern and first poke holes in the pumpkin to outline the pattern and then just cut it out. It's like the easiest thing in the entire world to do. Is it really? It really is. I carved the scary face from one of those Tim Burton movies on one pumpkin, the Yankee symbol, and then something else, a witch on a broom or something. And they looked professionally done. And it was really, really easy. And they even sell, like, some kits, they have, like, a little roller thing with pokies in it, and it pokes the holes for you. You just roll it against the pattern. It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had to use those last year and the year before and whatever years, They're helpful, but they still take a lot of time.
It does take a lot of time, but I think, for me, it's like spending quality time with the kid and doing something, getting messy. And that's, typically we don't have pumpkin goo all over the table.
Pumpkin goo,
Goo, that's gross.
Because,
I was just going to say, my kids, they wanted me to do the pumpkins. They're gone in 15 minutes. An hour and a half later, I'm still working on it.
Sitting there doing
well, the last time, every year, they're little.
Where did everybody go?
I'm the only one sucking it up. So the year before last, the squirrels ate right through the face that I drew on the pumpkins and carved out. Mm-hmm. So they had nothing but huge holes in them, within a few days. So this year I'm procrastinating buying pumpkins.
Well, you still have some time. I mean, it's the second weekend of the month. So, but Julie just loves to be in the season.
Yeah,
we get all the pumpkin stuff around the house, the leaves, and she's amazing when it comes to decorating for the season.
Send her over. I got leaves.
And it's got to feel, you come in your house and it's like decorated and it feels warm and it's the next stage.
She also has me emptying the basement. Her big thing, one of these days, the basement's going to be totally empty. And the big thing now is I'm selling all my vinyl records.
Really? Is there a value for that? Is there any?
I'm going to find out later today.
Okay.
I'm going to a guy who's going to give me a pretty good assessment. I have 12 milk cases filled with albums.
The Bee Gees.
All that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I do.
Hall & Oates.
Oh, you name it.
So do I.
Back to do you really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Back to the 60s. I, have old Beatles albums and everything. And
cool.
And so I've been lugging them up from downstairs. Each one of these weighs like 60 pounds.
Yeah.
And I have 12 of them that I got to bring to a record store today. But because I figured, why not get rid of this stuff?
Yep. Hopefully you get some money. I'd like to hear a follow-up on that.
And if I keep them for another 2 years, is it going to appreciate that much more? Or might they depreciate? And, when I'm gone, my kid will just throw it out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the records done today, which ought to be
It's funny that vinyl is actually coming back around. A lot of bands are releasing or re-releasing. Nirvana, they just celebrated their 20th year of their Nevermind release. Mm-hmm. And I believe they're doing a special anniversary edition on vinyl.
We have one turntable. Now, here we have, 5 radio stations here. We have one turntable. And I brought in one of the things of records, and I wanted to play, we have a turntable, but no needle in it. No needle in the turntable.
I used to host a show on the jazz station and used to play songs off vinyl all the time on the old turntables. Cool, yeah.
Those were the days.
Yep.
I'll let you know if I get anything from my Beatle albums next week. I want to thank our guest today, Bruce Briggs from Leroy Hearth and Home in beautiful downtown Leroy. His website is tied into ours at propertysourceradio.com if you want to find out more. And Marcy Muller, boy, that was great information that she brought us about her program at Greenworks with the Rochester Landscape Technicians Program. Again, a website link there at PropertySourceRadio.com. We'll get back to ESPN Radio right after this quick break. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you guys again.
Good to see you, too.
And have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Property Source Radio, stand by. We get back to Sports Radio 950 ESPN right after this.